I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
I don't think I have any guided meditations I can guide the people. I have my
Guide the people, our flock.
I have my my grocery list I can read out to the people.
Sure, what's on it?
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Lube, dildos, butt plugs.
It's actually bleach, potatoes, bread, freeze spinach, soupline, which is like a softening thing you put in the laundry.
Damn, man, you're like cooking a feast for your kids. Bleach with
2
some
packs
spinach.
of fucking cola.
Shit.
Universal
And some diabetes.
Some universal soil to plant shit, which was for my mother-in-law. Then 1 crate of lemonade and 1 crate of milk. There you go. That's my dad thing for this week.
All right, Andy is doing actual genuine dad things for once.
I actually have
Instead
one.
of...
I actually have one. But
All right.
it was so fucking...
go.
Should
Or do
I?
we need a...
No, look.
Do we need a...
Look, I'm gonna say the joke, then I'm gonna explain myself. All right.
All right, I'll prepare myself.
Okay, for the I keep notes in my phone, right? I do this all the time, where I write down jokes and then I tell them on the show, or I try to work them in the show and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
This is one I wrote, I think 4 to 5 days ago now. All right. As you all know, we are a podcast dedicated to doing good. And the other day I was contacted by a listener with a brain tumor who gave me his whole life story. And I have to say, I felt really, really bad for the guy. And then I hope he's doing well. He has to have surgery to get the brain tumor removed. Now, especially for that listener, we hope the surgery goes well. And here's Kylie Minogue with Can't Get You Out of My Head.
Jesus Christ.
I would be the worst. I would be the worst radio host. What if that happened though? What if a radio host actually has the worst choice in music ever? That would be...
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, we have a listener here with a brain tumor. He's been going through a tough time. Now, here's Kylie Minogue with Can't Get You Out. Oh, God.
Here's a shitty, inappropriately named song.
Yeah. In my defense, I did contact a cancer survivor after I written down this shit to ask him if it would be okay. He actually said, you know what? As long as it's jokes about cancer and shit like that, and it's not about, oh, that's so bad it gives me cancer, as long as it's not that, then it's fine. And I feel like it's...
Okay, so we can say stuff like, that's so bad it gave me AIDS, that's okay.
No.
But if we say it's so bad it gives me cancer, that is not okay.
I don't think that's a joke. What I did was a joke, according to cancer survivor. So I'm fine. I had permission to say that.
But he didn't have brain cancer, so maybe he's like a racist within the cancer community. I don't know.
Just fucking start the show. It's fine.
Right,
the moment's gone.
If you haven't noticed by now, we're a soldier down.
Yeah. Normally somebody would be very pissed around this time.
Yeah, Mrs. Sourpuss ain't here today, so this one's going to be fun. I don't know. She decided to bail because, why be consistent?
Yeah,
that
of
would
course.
Be too hard.
Nah, she had... She felt that family business was more important than you, the listener. Now, my family is rotting away in the heat, 5 foot away from me. I'm in my garage trying to get silence and trying to get all for you. But she didn't want to be here.
Shit.
She explicitly told me, fuck listeners. My family is more important. Well, actually, she would say that. She cares a lot about her family.
She does.
Yeah, all right.
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
What can we say?
So, what are we doing without Batman this week?
Well, I think it would have been more fun with her in a way, but I'm kind of glad she's not here because now we can go more crazy.
Yeah.
We are tackling the ever-giving gift of 5G.
Yeah.
5G technology, for your phone.
Yeah. Which is a shitty thing. We've all heard about it right until,
Yeah. I mean, the reason my penis is so big is because of 5G. So, really, we need to thank Ericsson and Huawei for that. Thank you very much. No, but okay, so we're going to structure this a bit like... I'm going to go very, very basic, what the fuck is it? What are the advantages of it? How does it achieve that? Because there is, different levels of 5G.
Yeah.
So it is a bit more complex.
Oh, by the way.
And then we're going to talk about, the health, any potential health problems, any, concerns people have, etc.
Before we get into the shit of this whole 5G thing, can I just talk about something I came across yesterday, which I found very, very disturbing, and that I cannot find today anymore. So yesterday there was this message circulating, and my wife read it out to me.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically saying that Germany accidentally leaked evidence of the coronavirus not being that bad. Because compared to the numbers, and it's very strange as well, when the whole coronavirus began, I was on top of this because, as you know, and as the listeners should know by now, conspiracy theory is my fucking shit. That's where I live. Not that I believe everything, I just think the theories around it is cool and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, in the beginning, it was very easy to find the numbers of the common cold throughout the world. Now all the numbers you're coming across is it's America and it's Europe and there's no... Normally on the top of the page of Google, you could find, 2018, so many people died, coronavirus, we're up to that. And I realized we were at that point at around 60,000 deaths from the coronavirus when I started researching that, and there were around 300,000 to 400,000 from the common cold, which is the exact same as we have now. And the numbers might vary with 100,000 or maybe 50,000 or whatever. They might vary, and they might vary less because they're writing everything off as a corona death at this point. If you die, they're just corona. Yeah, if you die from the corona, if you die having the coronavirus, but you had cancer, and you die from the actual cancer, but you had corona, then you're a corona death. Yeah. So the numbers aren't exactly right. But so, at a population of 1.7 billion people, there were 17 million deaths during the Spanish plague. Now that, in my point of view, is a pandemic. 300,000 to 400,000 people dying is basically a common cold. It's a common cold 0.2, I guess you'd say. It's still not a pandemic. But it's so fucking weird how it all got blown up. And so Germany yesterday had, or the day before that, accidentally released a report saying that the coronavirus wasn't as bad as they said it was. And now they're trying to cover up their tracks and shit like that. Lo and behold, today, right before the show began, I was telling Alex about this. I thought, I'll look the article back up. And it's not there anymore. It's gone.
Boom. Insert X-Files music.
Do, 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 do.
Let's go. Well, yeah, I mean...
Oh, that's porn music. Oh, fuck. I got that fucked up. Okay.
Yeah, you're watching a different video. That's why you couldn't find it. You were too ashamed to bring it back up. We've all been there.
It was something to do with illegal aliens, too, though it fits in with the conspiracy theory.
aliens made COVID-19, then gave us the access to the 5G technology to weaken our immune system so that the 5G could therefore give us COVID. Done. Boom. Problem solved.
No, I'd say the aliens gave COVID-19 so that we all have to stay in home and they can put up their 5G masts so that we can all have better internet access to watch the titties.
I like it. These are like too. Pornhub aliens, sponsored by Pornhub. Come to save us. All right, well, let's get into it. Let's go. So, like I said, a bit of background information. Then we'll do like kind of the advantages of 5G versus 4G, which there are more than just quicker. There's actually also reasons why, obviously, you would want it to be quicker. Mm-hmm. Then we go sort of a bit like how it does that, because like I said, there's a few different versions of 5G, which I think creates a lot of confusion with people when they read these conspiracy theories. And then we're just going to go into like what are some of the issues with it that people have raised and governments around the world have raised.
All right.
Because there is a lot of like misinformation and maybe correct. We don't know. So we're going to discuss that a bit.
All right.
So let's go. So first of all, why is it called 5G? Well, very simple. It's the 5th generation of like cellular networks. So
okay.
The devices connect to the internet through this 5G thing and to, using an antenna inside the device, which has to be a specific tuned to the radio waves. So it's not like if you have a 4G phone, you cannot connect to 5G because your antenna in your phone is not made to connect to those frequencies.
Yeah, exactly. And also it's been around longer than
it's been around for 4 years now, I think.
Something
but
like
it's
that,
only really rolling out now in 2020. It's starting to really come to major cities around the world.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was longer than 4 to 5 years, to be honest. Because its first use was military, right?
Oh, yeah. Military and medical, I think, as well. They used a lot of like enterprise sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is, of course, where it goes first, and then us plebs, we get it down the line.
Us peasants.
Yeah, filthy peasants. So, of course, the greatest advantage is it's greater bandwidth, so it gives you much higher download speeds. In theory, this actually really surprised me. I didn't know it could be this quick. It could be up to 10 gigabits per second, which would mean you could download a file at 1,250 megabytes per second, or 1.25 gigabytes per second. Theoretically, max speed.
Do you have the same numbers on 4G to make the comparison?
Yes. 4G tops out at... Oh, it's coming a little bit later. We'll get there. Okay. I do have it written here.
Okay.
So, obviously, due to the high speeds, 5G offers, like, genuine competition to, like, your internet providers. So that's one of the big things, is now you could basically have internet, like, mobile internet, through a SIM card or something that competes with your cable internet at home.
Okay.
So you might, as a consumer, actually get more price competitive or, like, much bigger data deals on your phone because they want, like, your phone network is now trying to enter if they're not already, they're trying to enter the space of selling you internet access because now it's fast enough to be a genuine option. You don't even need to bother having fiber at your home anymore. Yeah. If you had 5G that was that fast, like, why would you bother?
Yeah.
So how they do it, 5G uses radio frequencies that are higher than 4G, but the problem here is that because it's a higher frequency, the range is shorter. And this is where a lot of the conspiracy starts. So basically, you need more of the towers to cover the same amount of area because they're like higher energy, but they kind of weaken over a shorter distance.
Okay.
So 5G is split up into basically 3 versions. There's low band, mid, and high band. And high band is usually the one that the conspiracy nutters freak out about. Yeah. It's going to like melt your fucking brain and all that shit. Mm-hmm. So each of these basically gives a trade-off between speed and coverage. So the low band is slower, but it covers a bigger radius per tower.
Okay.
So you'd need less of them. And obviously mid is kind of a balance of the two. And then the high range is like super quick, but really short range. So you'd need a lot more of those towers to cover the same space.
Yeah.
Low band basically uses the same frequencies as existing 4G, around 600 to 700 megahertz, which gives a very slight speed increase of downloads to about 30 to 250 megabits per second, which is, I think, about 10% quicker than 4G.
Okay.
So to put it into perspective, at max theoretical speed there, you could download at about, I think it works out to about 30 megabytes per second.
Okay.
So you can see the difference. 5G, what was it, 1,250 versus 30. You're getting a 40x speed increase.
Still, I don't see... I mean, this is just the beginning, but still, I don't see the entire hubbub about it for us plebs. Because I get how this can be used professionally. I get how a business might have need for all this shit. Now, it's the normal people that are freaking out, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, and this is just me thinking here, us normals and us not business smart and us not fucking captains of industry and all that fucking shit. Everybody who doesn't own a fucking factory with 150 people working there, like, why would we want to change to that? Like, that's my thing, because it's okay, yeah, it's faster, it all that, but still, it's not a huge leap forward. Like, this, to me, from what I know of it, is going from an iPhone 10 to an iPhone 11. Well,
theoretically, you could get up to 40 times the speed increase. Yeah, theoretically.
Why do you need that? What TikTok works fine on 4G.
I mean, well, as an average Joe, you probably don't, but I'll come to some use cases later. That's sort of when I read about it, I was like, oh yeah, I can see why. Like, planning for the future, you would want this then. Mm-hmm. So yeah, basically, so here low band is the same speed and same basic. It's very similar to 4G already. So which basically means that 4G speed is like the minimum. Like, you will always guaranteed basically get 4G speed. Whereas obviously now on 4G, sometimes your phone loses signal and you go to like 3G and you're like, what the fuck? Like, shit takes forever. You can't watch porn on the go. So in that way, that's kind of cool. Yeah, your minimum service will always be that. Then you have mid-band, which is like going to be, or is the most common. And this uses what they call microwaves, like microwave lengths. So don't worry, it's not going to cook you like a fucking microwave oven.
Yeah.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe.
But yeah.
Somebody take your kids there and let's find out. Yeah,
just chuck your kids right in front of an antenna and see what happens.
Yeah.
So this uses microwaves in the 2.5 to 3.7 gigahertz range, which allows for download speeds about almost 4 times as fast as 4G.
All right.
On average. And so here, like I said, this is like the blend between speed and coverage. So one tower will cover a several mile radius. So it's like the most practical rollout. You get better speed, but you're still covering a large enough area that you don't need a tower on every street corner. Like you do on the high band, basically. So yeah, this will be the most widely available thing in almost every metropolitan city in 2020 that's rolling out 5G. Some countries are not even implementing the low band. They're just skipping it because they already have 4G. So I guess they figure, why bother?
Yeah.
So they're doing this mid band and the high band.
Okay.
Now we get to the high band, which currently uses the 25 to 39 gigahertz range, which is near the bottom of the millimeter wave band, which is why you might hear 5G called like millimeter wave like technology.
Yeah.
They're talking about this high band, like, which is super fast download speeds, like I said, often exceeding like 1,000 megabits a second. By the way, every time
you say the word high band, I can only think of Dead City Ruins. A great fucking Australian metal band that I used to hang out with that you can only describe as a high band because that's what they were constantly.
Just constantly.
Fucking funniest guy. Yeah, we once made a Facebook event, me and those guys, when they were in Belgium, and there was this guy, the drummer of the group was named Zelnik. Great fucking guy. He's like the tubby, hairy, beardy guy, and he just for the shit of it went sitting naked behind his drum set on a show. And there was this kid, like 12 years old, right next to him, making him feel like the smallest man alive because he was like, oh, fuck, there's a kid here and I'm sitting here naked, But they're a metal band,
Christ.
so they had to sell their shit and stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So we made a Facebook event once here in my city. Andy and Zelnik go eat a pita. and that was basically it was just me and him.
Oh
There
my
were
God.
pictures of that face of that of that event. It was like 15 people showed up to watch me and him eat a pizza.
Just eat a
That's
pizza.
dumbest shit ever.
Hey,
But yeah,
you know,
so
this is why we need these faster speeds.
Sometimes high bands are important. That's what
They
I'm
are.
saying. Yeah,
They
go
definitely are.
check out Death City Ruins, and you'll hear their shit. They're pretty good.
Yeah. Some free advertising right there.
Mm.
See, if you're a good band, we'll shout you out. Why not?
Yeah.
So yeah. So back to it. Download speeds on the high band, like I said, it's the fastest one, so they often exceed 1 gigabit per second, which is comparable to like cable internet, fiber optic, like at your home. So this is the one that is, the gold standard.
Yes.
Having that on the go.
Okay.
It's a higher cost to implement, obviously, because it has really short range. If you want to know how short, there's a video by Linus Tech Tips on YouTube where they go to, I think it goes to New York City, where they have these towers. And literally, he puts like a piece of paper between his phone and the tower, and like the speed drops a lot. Like that is how.
Okay.
So these towers will only be used in densely populated areas, or like sports stadiums and convention centers where a lot of people are going to gather together, and they need the speed, or they need the bandwidth to cope with that many people connecting.
Yeah.
So this is the one that most people freak out about, but I think they don't understand that this will rarely be used because it is, like I said, you literally turn and face the other way. If your body is between you and like your phone and the tower, it can drop out. Like it's not going to be used that much.
All right. Okay.
So, but if you want to check it out, though, watch that video because he shows like the difference between medium wave and high band, the high wave in New York City.
Yeah,
and he shows the difference.
Or if you're a conspiracy nut and you want somebody to actually see or see somebody
to see
that
what happens.
actually checks it out, and because there's I hate this about conspiracy theories. I mean, I love them, but then on the other hand, there's so much shit like. That people manipulate their videos to get their point across of it being dangerous and shit like that. Let's just go to people that genuinely don't take a standpoint in good or bad. Like us, we're not taking a standpoint in any of this.
No. Well, my point here is I'm going to just talk about the concerns. You make your own opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Just to discuss it a bit.
Yeah.
So one note here as well is at the minute you can get, and this 1 gigabit per second is like real world speeds. Like people are already getting this, it's tested, it happens. And speeds will increase as 5G obviously matures as a technology. So speeds will potentially get up to 10 times faster than that again. So super fast. So as of April in 2019, so this is like a year ago now, there was 224 operators across 88 countries that have demonstrated, tested, or trialed field tests of 5G. So, highly likely, if you live in a city around the world, you've probably been exposed to it at some point. Like, if you live in any sort of decent-sized city around the world, it's highly likely.
If you wonder why your uncle started talking like this,
it wasn't
and
the stroke.
really started liking his sister, then 5G is probably the reason.
Yeah, most likely.
Turns the frickin' frogs gay.
Oh, there it is. Boom. We got Mr. Jones here.
Yeah. I can't get as angry as him. I'm too mellow now that I have 3 kids. Like, that's my secret. I'm pissed off all the time. I'm like the fucking Hulk.
Yeah, and I have like a neighbor on the other side of the wall. If I just started shouting as loud as possible, I think I might be evicted. Especially if I start yelling about gay frogs and things. But what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Get him out.
Maybe you get him to listen. It's how you get people to pay attention, buddy.
Yeah, that's true.
Talking about the truth and gay frogs.
Yep.
All right.
It's definitely truth. Okay, so if you've ever been to South Korea in the last year, I don't know, I haven't, but if you have, you've almost definitely been exposed to 5G because they are the first country that adopted on a large scale.
Okay.
It's more or less in their 6 largest cities are almost entirely 5G now, or have the capacity to be 5G. This is the thing that I think is the most important here and why I personally don't think even if there are health problems, it will never change. this is an example of how much money is invested in this. This is just one little sample, just to give. So Ericsson, which is the Swedish, they used to make Sony Ericsson phones, if you remember.
Yeah.
And Ericsson, basically, they make like 5G technology. They make like the actual hardware for the towers that countries are using, to do this.
Okay.
Just for Brazil, they are investing almost $300 million in an assembly line just to build these 5G devices.
Jesus Christ.
Only for Latin America, not even for the whole world. So just for South America alone, they're spending $300 million making a factory.
Hey,
or an
Ericsson,
assembly line to do this.
Ericsson, can you solve world hunger first before you do this dumb shit, maybe? I'm just spitballing here.
Well, this is the thing. I think that people don't realize, even if it is harmful, like, I honestly don't think at this point they give a shit.
Nah.
Because the people that have invested this type of money, man, they're getting that money back one way or another.
Yeah, they are. Or heads will roll, literally.
Exactly. And so there's only 9 companies that sell 5G radio hardware.
Okay.
They are Altiostar, never heard of them. Cisco, which is like a huge, like for networking and stuff in enterprise.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Datang Telecom, I assume some Asian thing. Ericsson, Huawei, the Chinese government sort of funded one that a lot of Western countries have banned from
Starting to sound real fishy here, Alex.
Yeah, Nokia, Qualcomm, Samsung, and ZTE. They are the only companies that make 5G stuff.
So Apple doesn't want to invest?
I think they just buy things from Qualcomm, who make, I guess, chips for phones.
Oh, okay.
And probably ZTE as well.
Okay.
But so... This is where it starts to get like a bit. Even when I was reading, I'm like, this is starting to get a bit weird.
Yeah,
I'm like, it's not. Some things don't add up. So this is the beginning. Yeah, I'm going to come back to this a bit later with something that, even to me, I was like, this is a bit sus. And I personally think it's as bad as some of these people think.
Yeah, you've mentioned on a former episode
exactly.
that you're not too worried about.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
But this made me still a bit like how dodgy are these fucking dicks that implement this stuff? They're so corrupt. It's not funny. So this is sort of the beginning of this. So in 2016, the FCC in the US, I think it's like the Federal Commission of Trade or Commerce or some shit. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's like they freed up a lot of the bandwidth, like so the spectrums basically for 5G. They paved the way. They made sure to like reserve this because what they do is they sell the space to phone carriers. So you can have like 3 to 4 gigahertz range for X fucking money. So the government's making a shitload of money from this too.
Yeah,
when they rent it out. So they began opening up these things from 2016, so it's 4 years ago now. The EU, as of March 2018, agreed to open up between the 3.6 and 26 gigahertz bands by 2020, so by now, so that 5G can be rolled out.
Yeah.
The first ever all 5G phone, so not a phone that supports 5G, but a phone that I think supports, had only 5G support, released, it was the Samsung S20 that released on the 6th of March 2020.
Okay.
I think in some regions is the first ever phone that was only 5G. So it's still quite new. And then Nokia announced their Nokia 8.3 2 weeks later, which allegedly will have the biggest 5G compatibility. Because like I said, there's different ranges. So they have a phone that can connect a whole different bunch.
Yeah.
But this is where it starts to get a bit weird. So, well, one of the biggest issues that got talked about is the sort of, again, the frequency band that 5G uses is very close to remote sensing equipment. So for things like weather prediction, and weather, like Earth monitoring satellites. So the impact could potentially be very significant without proper measures put in place to reduce crossover. And obviously, the weather, you and me might not care. Yes, look, if they're off by 1 or 2 degrees, right?
Yeah.
But one of the big points is the aviation industry, where knowing the weather, if you're flying a plane full of 400 people.
Yes.
Very important to know pretty accurate weather, right?
Yeah, of course.
But 5G kind of fucks with that equipment. They get a lot of crosstalk. So they can be a 30% greater error because of 5G in their predictions.
But how... Wait, hold on. You said that 5G doesn't go that far.
Yes, but I think, and this is one of the things that they're trying to do is ban 5G around areas where they're doing this tracking. is like one of the things they're planning to implement. But again, it's like,
man,
it's very dodgy because the US...
just to get a little better internet, we're gonna change our entire airplane infrastructure.
Yeah, well, that's sort of and not just for planes, like, and even just knowing the weather, like, it also has other things like monitoring for climate change and stuff. If you're 30% less accurate, your data all of a sudden goes to shit. And that's a lot of arguments that a lot of scientists have been putting to governments around the world, like, hey, you need to, like, put in things to stop them fucking up our equipment, because otherwise we don't get good data, and then that impacts everything.
Yeah, that impacts our data.
Yeah, like, you know, and the weather, like I said, okay, sure, if they're off by 1 or 2 degrees, maybe it doesn't impact you and me, but hey, if I'm getting in a plane, I want to fucking make sure that I land safely on the ground on the other side. And potentially, you know, this wrong data, like a wrong wind direction could impact that, or not knowing if a storm's coming, because they can't, because it really fucks with like water vapor testing, which I assume is very useful, I'm assuming here, but probably for like storms and stuff. Yeah. You know, knowing how much moisture's in the air.
Well, from my perspective, if you're 20,000 feet in the sky and you're flying a plane and you didn't see a fucking ginormous black cloud, you're a fucking bad pilot. Like,
to be fair,
that.
Sometimes they just put on the autopilot and go to sleep, though, so they might not even see it.
Don't mess with my nap time. That fucking
Imagine
sucks,
having a job where you get paid just to take off and then sleep. And you get paid real good money.
I don't think they sleep. Sometimes, like...
I think one guy always has to be awake, though, anyway. I'm pretty sure, surely.
I'm 75% sure that every pilot in the world only knows about 25% of those buttons in the cockpit, and the rest is just...
like, what do they do? Doot, doot. I don't think they even do anything. I think they're just there to make it look complex.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you only have to press these 3 buttons. The rest of them, they just light up like a kid's play toy thing.
That's why they let kids into the cockpits, to make them feel important sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So... Okay, so this is where it really started. I was like scratching my head a bit. So this led to, obviously, this information that it could fuck up, potentially, especially the aviation industry. This led to the US Secretary of Commerce, Wilbur Ross, what a name, he has 2 names, and the NASA Administrator, Jim Bridenstine, to urge the FCC to delay some of the auctions of this spectrum space, to, like, you know, help protect the... while they make some sort of arrangement so that they didn't get this confusion or this like fucking up of the data.
Basically, don't put it up yet. Let us think about this.
Let us
first.
think about Well, that was rejected, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
Even the US military said, hey, you should think about this, because I assume for them too, you know, having this satellite information is very important.
They've worked with this shit, yeah.
Yeah, so even they were like, oh, you should probably do this. The FCC said, nope. Which then led to now there's an I think as of December 2019, there's now an investigation into why the FCC so hastily made the decision to reject this without considering. Yeah. So you can see that it looks like some palms got greased, I'm sure, somewhere along the line. Yeah. And they're like, nah, fuck these guys. They didn't pay us enough money. We're going to put 5G through.
Yep.
That's what I'm thinking happened. So
Probably.
Even the US government, like different agencies in the US government are like fighting within themselves as to if it should be rolled out or not, or certain parts of it anyway. And then, of course, we get to the next point, and something that I've sort of read a lot about, which is there's a lot of surveillance concerns, but this is more to do with countries, particularly with the Chinese manufacturers of this technology.
Okay.
Yeah, especially Huawei, because... countries like the US, Australia, and the UK, and I think Canada as well, basically banned them from rolling out their towers. I think the UK now came up with a deal where any non-critical parts of the network Huawei can be in, but there are like segmented parts for like, you know, intelligence reasons that they can not access, or they're not allowed to have their tower. And that's because Huawei is... largely funded by the Chinese government, and there's a lot of theories that the Chinese government pull a lot of strings, and they might put a back door in there and start taking data and monitoring people.
You know what? To be honest, as far as I know the Chinese, I really wouldn't be surprised. But hey, there's another question for you. I thought we were all doing pretty well. I mean, not counting in the southeast and like the countries where the Americans refuse to leave from, which you know, I get it. You do you, we'll do us. But like I thought on the whole, as a world, we were pretty. It always fucking irritates me how much spying there still is in the world, and there is a fucking shitload. Like Russia's definitely still spying on America. Like the Cold War ended how many years ago now? Like I don't get why. Like,
dude, not even that, right? So I work in the data industry, and I was looking at the Russian version of Facebook. I was looking at some documentation there to look at their advertising thing. Dude, you can advertise on that platform. This would be illegal in the EU, by the way. But Russia isn't in the EU. You can target advertisements to what street someone lives on, what university or high school they went to, what grades they got, what degree they graduated with. Dude, you know, like probably what they ate for breakfast. Like it was in.
Knowing I was like, the Russians, is that really a surprise?
No, but
I mean, remember
with
the COVID thing, what white Russia's response was to that? Just drink more alcohol, and if you feel sick, go sit in a sauna. Nobody stops working. This is fucking the best thing ever. Yeah. Yeah, they don't give a shit.
Yeah, and this is just any company, right, can advertise to you like this in Russia. They somehow know like what high school you went to and what grades you got.
Being a male and a female prostitute in Russia is probably the best thing ever, because you just pop up the Facebook page and then you just go to lonely men above like
above this age who live in my neighborhood, and you can literally target a street you want to live on.
Dude, yeah, like or just not that street and go to all the other streets.
Yeah, exactly.
To make yourself feel safe.
This is just like basically the equivalent of Russian Facebook has this data. So imagine, what do you think the government has on you?
Oh fuck.
Or any? I mean, come on. If this company has that, like, come on.
Lot. That's why I watch the weirdest fucking porn. I truly believe
to throw off the statistics.
The only way to stop every government from spying on me is to occasionally go into tentacle hentai porn,
of course,
and fucking watch that shit
and
for 2 hours.
This guy's clearly deficient in the brain, so we don't need to worry about this guy.
Yeah. And then I'm building my nuke in the shed while that runs on my PC. So yeah,
of course.
North Korea, I'm coming for you.
Oh, damn. If we get Kim Jong-un back from the dead again.
Do you think this podcast will still be here next week?
I think he's dead. I think we're good.
Yeah, all right.
All the simps are going after his sister now. But, okay, so I mentioned how the US, Australia, UK, Canada and stuff were scared about Huawei spying. But this is where it gets very hypocritical, because there are allegations, which, I mean, let's face it, are probably true, that the US via the FBI, the UK via their government communication headquarters, and other world agencies sought to allow as much metadata collection as possible in the 5G standard, in the document to make sure everything complies, basically to allow them to mass surveil people. So they don't want the Chinese to do it, but they themselves want access to do it to their own people.
But
then they block the Chinese from doing
surveillance?
it. I mean, I guess there's the thing that if you're not doing anything, it doesn't matter. And like, as I said, like working within data, it is impossible to spy on every single person in the world. They have triggers that make them look into. I guess this is a
question of, how do you feel about your internet usage versus is your internet usage directly in line with your freedom as an individual? I think that's the main question, because I've always felt like all this shit around the fucking... How can I explain this? About internet usage and your data being mined and shit like that is basically, from my perspective, has nothing to do with your freedom. It's just like, if you're not doing much, then they
don't give a shit. I'll tell you, the reason they do it is to make money, and they're not making money by going, oh well, Bob has a fucking this illness or this or he did that. They're doing it so that Bob likes this brand of whatever,
Yeah.
We are going to put him in a group with the other people so that we can target advertisers. That is all that they really give two fucks about.
Yeah.
Okay, the government they probably care, but they're looking for trigger words like bomb, mass shooting, killing, guns.
But
they're not looking at you going shopping. They don't give a fuck. And no one has the time to look at how many hundreds of millions of people or tens of millions of people that live in your country. They cannot look at all of you. It is impossible.
But then
they
again,
look for trigger things
what
that
if
pick
I
up
want? What
stuff.
if I want to download the Anarchist Cookbook for no other reason, of course, than to just read it to know what's inside of it?
Yeah, but then that would be a trigger thing or something, right?
Yeah,
then that would send it, and then they would probably start looking into you. But they didn't look into you before that. They would have gone, oh, now this happened. Okay, now this guy might be suspicious.
But do you think
whatever.
it's just you know me as a person? You know I'm no danger beside anybody of my besides myself.
Mm-hmm.
But do you believe if I were to download the Anarchist Cookbook, that a van outside of my house with my 3 kids present and my wife and my dog and my cat, do you think that's justified?
No, but I also don't think it would happen. To be honest.
You don't?
I don't think so.
See, I think I do. I think it would. Because that's that book, for example, because I'm giving you the exact reason why some of these freedoms are rather fucking important. And I get Americans that freak out over that. One of my best friends, I'm not going to call her by name because I know she prefers her privacy, but is a huge nut job, and I can call her a nut job. Probably the only person I could call her a nut job. About all this stuff and about her freedom and shit like that. And I get it. I get where she's coming from. Because if you want to download the Anarchist Cookbook, you should have that liberty. The only problem I have with this entire thing is, people with right intentions. I'd probably build a bomb if I read the Anarchist Cookbook. I'm not joking. I'd probably try it. I mean, you're having it. Why wouldn't you fucking,
True. But I guess as well, but it would also be like a step. You'd probably get on a list and they'd start monitoring you. And then if they thought you started looking into other things or started Googling things that are used to make bombs and where to buy them, for example, then they might turn up in a van and little Andy will disappear. And we'll never see him again. But
by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if they are already following me because I
neither would I.
No, I'm not kidding. I'm deathly serious. I must be on a watch list somewhere. Absolutely, definitely. I can literally kill you, and I mean this, from the extract of a plant that I know where to get it, and it takes 10 of its seeds, and every berry of this plant has around 50 to 40 in them, so I can basically kill 10 people by just... and it will not a single doctor will say anything other than this person was just sick.
So it's basically like license.
I know shit. So you can imagine what my search history must be like. I am definitely on a watch list somewhere.
To be fair, though, I think you also remember on a scale that's probably not even that bad to compare to a lot of nutters out there.
Yeah.
So, you're probably still lower on the scale than, the complete nutter fucking nutbags out there.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so to move on from the surveillance thing, so that's one of the things. Of course, there's some environmental concerns. So, in August of 2019, a court in the US ruled that 5G tech cannot be deployed without an environmental impact and a historical preservation review. So, basically making sure... of the environmental impact in that specific area before they put out a 5G tower. Yeah. I think I find it a bit convenient, though, that they rolled it out in the big cities before this and then they pushed this thing through.
Yeah.
Seems a bit convenient. Here we go. Here's something on Andy's little home country. Brussels in Belgium, if you don't know where Brussels is, and Geneva in Switzerland actually blocked a 5G trial because of radiation laws.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, I believe it was, early last year.
Yeah.
The Swiss Telecommunications Association, however, says that studies have been able to show anything that 5Gs impact human health, and therefore these are unfounded, and the trial should be allowed to go ahead.
Yeah.
Several Swiss states called
and by
cantons.
The way, trials, who gives a shit about trial? There's already 5G towers in Belgium, just so you know.
Yeah. This was I don't know if it was a specific trial. I didn't really go into. I mean, I haven't been studying this for 5 years, you know. But yeah, so several Swiss states called cantons adopted temporary bans of 5G tech after this. But the Swiss government basically says that they don't have the judicial power to do this, so basically go fuck yourselves. Yeah. So they basically told their states, like, if we want to roll out 5G, we are. We don't care if you ban it or not. We're the government, the federal government, and you're not. However, writing in the New York Times in 2019 was their science writer, William Broad, and he reported how a television station in the US called RT America spread misinformation linking 5G to harmful human effects. Now, this is a very important thing. RT America is Russian-owned and Russian government-funded. They were also heavily linked to the Russian impacting of the 2016 federal election in the US.
Okay.
So they have a history of propaganda, basically, and fear-mongering.
Yeah.
They alleged that the impacts on humans included 5G caused brain cancer, infertility, the classic autism, heart tremors, and Alzheimer's. Now, I'm not quite sure how they found evidence of this since 5G had barely been rolled out at this point, but they did. Mm-hmm. And so what happened is they aired 7 programs from the 1st of January 2019 and the end of April 2019, they aired 7 dedicated programs alone dedicated to spreading information about how harmful 5G is. Mm-hmm. This information obviously eventually leaked to hundreds of blogs and websites, which perpetuated these conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
And, okay, so the biggest sort of claim here is that because of the high energy in these waves, especially the high band, that this impacts the human organs, you know, and living organisms as dangerous to them. But as this William Broad points out, is that, and this is also backed up by another paper that I read, that because they're such high energy waves, and as we said before, they, like, if you put a piece of paper between your phone and the tower, the speed drops, right?
Yeah.
So scientists say it's actually the opposite. The radio frequencies penetrate your skin less than lower bandwidth stuff like your 4G phone, because they don't penetrate as through thick objects.
Yeah.
So it's actually a less risk to your body, especially more, not your skin, but your internal organs and your brain. Mm-hmm. So the skin is a different question, and I read a paper that did, it was a review of 140-something other medical studies, 125 medical studies, about 5G. They found no conclusive link whatsoever through these studies. Like, different papers on the same thing had different results and said very different things. So they found no connection between, like, how long you're exposed to it and any health effects or the speed of it or what frequency. But some papers did notice that the skin actually, like your body temperature, could rise up to about 1 degree Celsius.
Oh shit! Okay.
But again, one of the things they pointed out in this study, which was published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health, so I think a somewhat legitimate thing. It's a peer-reviewed journal. They said the problem with this, though, is some of the methods didn't take into account other factors. So it's very difficult to say, like, was it just the 5G or was it other things and other factors that they didn't consider within their study that caused this?
Yeah.
So, yeah, as this guy points out from the New York Times, basically 5G it's actually the opposite. The higher the frequency, the less it penetrates your skin.
Okay.
And to penetrate your organs.
Mm-hmm.
So, if anything, according to Dr. Marvin Ziskin, who's a medical doctor at the Temple University School of Medicine, which I believe is in Philadelphia, he said 5G emissions, if anything, should be safer than previous generations because it doesn't penetrate your skin as much. But this RT America was going on, and they had a show called, like, the 5G Apocalypse, and saying how it's going to kill you, and, you know, it's going to give you cancer and Alzheimer's and brain tumors and all this crap. And yeah, so there's a big theory here that
this is probably going to end up as being one of those things that no matter how many people scream out loud, we don't want this, the government's going to do it anyway, and we're going to see the consequences of that in a couple of years. And if
Definitely.
it's going to be good, then it's going to be good, and nobody's going to complain again. But if it's going to be bad, then you know, the freak out guys will probably end up saying, "I told you so."
True.
So, you know, it's like, remember when I did my speech on COVID-19 that I said whether it's man-made or nature-made, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to stop it.
Yep.
It's going to do what it needs to do. And, you know, if it's government-made, then, you know, people are going to die because the government wants people to die. And if it's not government-made, then people are going to die in a natural cause because it's a natural thing.
Yep.
I believe that this 5G thing is exactly that again. Like, it's you can see it in so many things. Look, the American government, I think back in the 50s or something, once drugged an entire town on LSD.
Yeah.
Just to see its effects on it, and like that entire town fucking went on a rampage, like an LSD fucking trip that of the ages. Nobody's talking about it anymore these days,
exactly.
unless, you know, you're a little bit into conspiracies and things like that, it's because you know what the government can do.
Mm-hmm. It's actually interesting that you bring that up, because he also makes a good point in this article that the same concerns have been made for almost every, you know, 4G, 3G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and what happens out of it? Nothing. The technology came out and we've all accepted it, and we just move on.
Yeah. And let's not forget, once the electricity masts were up, you know, the first thing that we noticed was after a couple of years, people started developing brain tumors that lived close under it.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened after a couple of years is that people stopped living under it because they weren't dumbasses anymore.
Yeah, exactly. You work it out. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Yeah, and there are regulations as well on this point too. Of course, like anything, you shouldn't live right. Like, if I had on my balcony a 5G tower, that would probably be quite bad.
Mm-hmm.
So there are regulations. There's a reason they put it on top of big ass fucking buildings where people are nowhere near, within
and
like
also,
100 meters or
like,
whatever.
You have a microwave at home, right? So would you put your head in that and turn it on and see what happens? Fucking, you know, no, you don't do that. We all know that there's not a single radiation that's healthy for us. Like, even people say, like, oh, the sunlight is good for me. Yeah, in small fucking doses, it's fine. You know, when it's radiating you, it's not fine. There's nothing fine about it.
Exactly. Well, and it's funny
it's gonna be the thing. You know, we're gonna live with it because the government wants it to be. So it's gonna be happening. You're not gonna stop it, and you're just gonna find a way around it. You're gonna be inventive, and you know, we'll fuck up the world a little longer. It's
funny that you mentioned the sun, because that is higher energy again than even the highest band of 5G. So and of course, we know what the sun does, but it's significantly stronger. So. You know, there is that to consider. So, so the big conspiracy here is basically that Russia's trying to cause dissent within the US to destabilize their position on 5G so that Russia can actually... Because Russia now, as of March 2020, began rolling it out. Even though this was a Russian government-funded web news outlet in the US, or a TV cable station, I think.
Yeah.
They themselves are now... So the whole idea is they think that Russia's trying to cause dissent in the US so that Russia can leapfrog the US with 5G technology because it's seen as a big step forward. And this is where I'm going to say why, some of the reasons why you would want this high speed.
Yeah.
Obviously, number one, military, but they've had this shit for long before we ever did as peasants.
Oh, yeah.
The good one that I read that I wouldn't have considered is self-driving cars and cars in general, to give a lot more high-speed information about where they are on the road, sensing information.
Yeah, but there's other shit. Oh, wait, but that's shit that's still connected to older things. So basically, if everything was 5G, then...
That's the idea. Everything will have 5G.
Well, would there be a data problem with weather stations and shit like that then, or not?
Yes, that's sort of one of the problems.
Okay.
The EU did make some considerations that the US government didn't. Mm-hmm. Surprise, surprise, when it comes to impacting weather stations. The EU made some concessions with scientists' sort of guidance. The scientists didn't get as much as they wanted, I think they made a little buffer zone like between the two frequency bands, but the EU made it a bit smaller than the scientists wanted, but the US made it 1/10 of what they wanted, and the scientists like, does fuck all. Like, you've done nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when they said like self-driving cars, or more in particular, like, you know how cars are becoming much more connected now, and even things like having more accurate GPS because you can send data quicker about where you are and where your car is, and your car could talk to another car like, "Hey, I'm there," so you would stop rear-end collisions, for example.
Yeah,
you know, cars, and so that's the idea. Maybe cars could start talking to one another. So basically, no matter how fucking dumb you are, you can't crash. Wouldn't that be nice? Because there's some fucking idiots on the road. I tell you what,
dude. For older people, this would be a blessing. Because I'm one of those driver, I'd much rather drive, and I got, like, again, I got 3 kids, so hear me out on this.
Mm-hmm.
I much rather drive behind a nut job that's 20-year-old doing 180 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone than I'm stuck behind a guy that's doing 30, an older gentleman that's doing 30 where he's supposed to drive 50.
You know, ones that annoy me the most?
His reflexes are weakened. His sight is less. Ooh. His muscles aren't as strong anymore. So those are all things to consider. If this guy had a car that basically cannot fucking crash, then that's good for me.
Exactly. And let's face it, this guy got his license in the day where you went down to the police station and you got given a license. You didn't have to do a single... This guy doesn't know the road laws or anything. Back when he learned how to drive, he had carburetors and fucking crank start or whatever. Like, you know.
I had one guy pull up. I don't know if you have an advantage of right sort of law within your country.
Oh, yeah. You have to give way to the right. Yeah.
Yeah. So here in Belgium, it's give way to the right always. Like
Same
9
here.
chances out of 10, unless you're on a big way. Then you know. But it clearly says so on the street that you're supposed. So I was on this big way, so I had headway. I was free to. This old fuck of a testicle just fucking pulls up and he slowly lets his car pull forward onto the street. Which had me take a maneuver to... I had to maneuver... luckily enough, I saw it in advance, and so I honked my horn. You know what this motherfucker did? He fucking honked back.
Of course he did.
30 minutes of rage within my car.
Just like,
how dare that
cunt.
fucking old hangy dangly testicle honk back at me while I was on the main road. This fucker is pulling into a road he's not supposed to fucking be turning into. Like, just stop your fucking car if you see a vehicle coming. It's your fucking job as a driver to fucking stop where you need to fucking stop. I was so pissed. A half an hour of rage later, I'm pulling into my parking lot. I just had to do one of these, smack the fucking wheel.
You.
So it was one of those things where you see a parked car slowly going back and forth. With me in it, raging and just turning red out of pure fucking frustration. Old people fucking suck.
They're the worst at driving. I 100%
look, you
agree.
fucking dipshit. You're above 70. Take a fucking bike.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. You're not going long distances anymore in your fucking car. Nobody likes you. Your family stopped caring a good 10 years ago. Just stop.
Loving the positive energy.
Stop. Fucking go.
But just imagine a world, right, where
piece of fucking trash,
where the wall of your local supermarket had a 5G sensor that would tell the car, "Hey, old man, you're reversing into me. Press the other, put it in the other gear, you fucking idiot."
The fucking nerve to honk back. The fucking nerve to honk back at me.
Yeah, I just imagine a world there where like the car had a 5G, so we could, you put it in reverse in the parking lot instead of drive because you're 75 years old. So instead of crashing into the building, your car goes, "Oh no, that's wrong, stop," and like puts on the brakes for you. Boom.
Yeah.
But so stuff like that, that's where I can see 5G would be really cool by having a lot of, because the whole idea here is we're going to have, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 70 billion 5G devices in the world by like 2025. 70 billion.
Jesus, that's a little bit a lot.
Yeah, that's what they reckon. So I was like, well, I guess if everything has this and everything can use the speed to talk to each other, then I can see the benefit.
It would be positive.
Yeah, I can see the benefit.
Exactly.
And especially when I read that, I was like, okay, I can sort of see why, even me as a pleb, this would be pretty useful.
Yeah.
And of course, and then other things like medical, being able to like make a lot more like high speed things to like remote surgeries and things as well now, with the use of like robotics and stuff like that.
Yeah, which
would be really cool.
if surgery from a distant fucking lags, you got a big ass fucking problem. Because if somebody's cutting an artery while he should have been cutting off a leg, then you know. They do that in a lot of hospitals these days. This is not future talk. They do it in a lot of surgery, like Mr. fucking Tokyo from Japan is sitting behind his desk and is called in to do a surgery in Belgium at 10 a.m. Now it's 9 a.m. He's not going to catch a plane to Belgium. So what they do is they get a set of robotic arms with him that he can control, like joystick-like. Yeah. It's amazing the age we live in.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the medical fucking, it's fucking incredible. Have you seen these exoskeletons they've been starting to use? These are so fucking cool.
Sick, man. Like, yo, you can jump like 7 meters.
Yeah.
Lift like 5 cars.
Yeah. I think you can lift up a car pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it's
like the weight of one car. You can tip a car over on its side, which with the Minnesota riots, it's fucking would be, maybe not the best thing to have right now.
Yeah, imagine if all the Karens had a fucking exoskeleton suit on.
Yeah.
Jesus.
By the way, can we touch on that for a second? How are you feeling about the poor black man that's been brutally killed in my vision?
Look,
I'm sure you've heard of it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna start by saying this. I feel bad that obviously for the guy like dying and what happened shouldn't have happened, but at this point, I just give up on the US. Like I'm sick of like this shit happens in such a cycle that like I just don't care anymore.
Have you seen footage of Minnesota right now?
Yeah, it's like on fire. It's fucking like insane.
The US is giving up on the US.
Yeah, no, it's.
But look, I'm gonna give you a little different perspective on the US because I love America. I have a genuine love for America for one simple reason, and I believe they shouldn't be harassing small businesses, and there's no reason to fucking loot. If you want to show your aggression, then beat up cops, so that they learn the lesson. Bully, fucker, bigger bullier. Teach them a lesson that way. If you want to do it with violence, then attack the people that wronged you. Not that I'm saying that every cop is wrong, because I'm sure there's a lot of police officers.
But at least they're related to the police force.
Yeah. It's not related to Joe fucking Black, who's been in the fucking gutter for 15 generations. His family came out of slavery, and now he's suddenly on the point of having a fucking bar of himself, and you want to break in there to steal his fucking vaults. That's not fucking gonna help anybody. That's not doing anything. That's just you being a dick. That's on you. Yep. But what I'm saying is, the guy kept his knee on his neck for 9 minutes, right? Yeah. Until he died. Now, it's supposedly he had some weak arteries and blah, blah, blah. It's fucking all bullshit. He killed him.
Dude, you have something on anyone's neck for 9 minutes, you probably kill him. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to work that out.
And plus, I've seen several cops doing that. While they arrest somebody, put the knee on the neck.
Yeah.
You know what? I know for a damn fact, and I know people in law enforcement. I know for sure they're not gonna blame me for this. I know people from the American law enforcement. They do not teach you that in laws, like in a police school. There's not a single lesson on putting a knee on the fucking neck.
Yep.
You can restrict a person legally. You can restrict a person until he's handcuffed, and then you have to contain him, which means put him in the fucking car.
Yeah, and when there's 4 cops or whatever and one dude and he's handcuffed, I think you can put him in the car pretty easily.
Yeah.
Just gonna say.
You got him on the ground. He wasn't resisting arrest. He told the people, I can't breathe. Just kept his knee on the neck. So as far as I'm concerned, that guy needs to fucking die.
Yeah, well, and the cop that killed him, they worked as security at the same bar.
Yeah.
So
did.
I mean, you think there's not some beef there or something?
Yeah,
come on.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
but I don't know. I've just given up on the US, to be honest. Like, if you're listening, like, not you as an individual, but just
here's my vision
so
here's my vision on America. It's fun to watch it from the outside because you get to laugh at it, and it's not happening to you, right? That's us Europeans. We're basically trolls.
It would never happen in Europe like that. Maybe London. Maybe the London riots the other years.
No, but then again, we're the sheep in this situation. Because look, America isn't a set thing. They're pretty young, Americans. America as a country is pretty young. They're only on their 52nd president now.
Yeah, well, they're like three or 400 years or something.
Yeah.
I think as an actual federated country, like 200.
America, from my perspective, it's a dream. It's an idea. It's an ideal. To be great. And somewhere along the line, they sort of forgotten. And it's gotten to be all about Hollywood and shit like that.
Yeah, and all about money.
It doesn't need to have content. It needs to look fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like doing, a kickflip. The kickflip doesn't need to hurt anybody, which is what a kickflip is supposed to do.
Yep.
No, it needs to look cool. And so that's America as far as I'm concerned at this point. It's a dream, but it's a beautiful dream nonetheless. The dream of freedom, the dream of not beating your chest. They used to wage war on poor people, to wage war on poverty, not on poor people.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're doing it all the way differently. And it's gotten so perverted throughout the years that it's a shame. You get these school shootings. You get these, like, fucking hell, where's their freedom in medication? It's all privatized. It's fucking... The problem isn't America. The problem is, and probably will still be for a very long time, is America's government.
Yep. But it's a corrupt system to begin with.
Why did Trump get elected? Trump basically got elected for the simple reason is he put on a fucking hell of a show.
Oh yeah, his marketing campaign was amazing, and he was helped by these RT America people.
Yeah,
so
exactly. But like
there we go.
the reason why, the entire world was watching Trump so closely is because he said all the dumb shit. He made it into a show. And that's what America's like. And they need to step back from that and go back to value. Not entertainment, but value.
Yeah, well, they're basically like the class clown right now. Like the whole world, we were just watching like, are they going to do it? Just do it, come on. Like vote him in just for the lols. And then after a while, we're like, oh, wait, no, don't actually do it. But they're like the class clown. They're like, he just takes everything to 11. Like, fuck yeah, dude, let's go. Woo!
Yeah.
And then they fuck everything up. And
so as far as I'm concerned, America is a very beautiful dream that got perverted. I'm not saying it's a lost cause, but I get your frustration in saying, I've given up on America.
Yeah, I'm not going to say American people,
I really haven't.
But the country as a whole I just gave up on. Just stop paying attention
it's
to
really,
it.
Yeah, it's really more the government than its people.
Yeah. Fucking real talk Andy right there again. Oh, damn. Oh, we're joined by Batman again. Oh, she's coming back.
Yeah, his wife, Ali, has been popping up in the chat on Discord, which, by the way, you can join if you click the annotation in the show notes.
You sure can.
Yeah, you can join the Discord server and watch us record live, which is what Ali is doing right now. Yeah. She popped in and out occasionally just to make sure that we're not saying things like...
You can hear all this stuff that gets cut out.
The whole bunch of bleeps you just...
Oh, she's sitting on the train on the way home.
Yeah.
But all right, well... On that note of her coming back, we're going to talk about quickly. We've got two last things to talk about. So I think anyone who hasn't been living under a rock would have heard in the recent COVID-19 thing that some people I can only describe as not all together in the head decided to start burning 5G towers around the world because they thought that COVID-19 was not really caused by 5G, but because 5G weakened your immune system, it was like a conspiracy
Fuck yeah!
to give it,
Coming forward
to give
say
it to
the
you.
fuck word, yeah!
So,
wait, was this America?
no, they're not. Well, not in the list that I've got here of countries. The list of countries were the Netherlands, in which there were 20 burnt towers alone.
Yeah,
only in the Netherlands.
Yeah,
Very small country.
I've heard about some of them. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Ireland, Cyprus, Scotland, Wales, England, Belgium, in a place called Pelt.
I know that one.
Yep.
Where?
Pelt, I think it was called.
Yeah, Pelt, yeah.
Italy, Croatia, and Sweden. The UK had 61 cases of towers being
Fucking burn it down.
Woo! So the theory here was that 5G weakened your immune system, and then Corona was spread as a way to kill people. By, first they weaken your immune system, then they give you Corona and you die.
See, now this is a theory I can get behind, right? This I can work with.
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. So, these people have some cerebral dysfunctions.
Came along and the fuck government, they took their job.
5G, the Corona, man. Oh, fuck, man, gotta burn it down.
You took your job.
Okay. And finally, this one I found out about this morning, and that's why I decided I have to do this episode. I was planning on doing it eventually. I was like, no, I have to. And once I heard this, I had to do it. So there is a company.
Yeah.
Called, where are they? I'm going to bring up their website here. Called 5G BioShield.
Okay.
For the low price of 283 Great British pounds, or about 350 US dollars.
Okay.
They will sell you a USB key, like a USB thumb drive, right?
Oh, yeah.
With 128 megabytes of space on there that apparently creates a shield against 5G and electronic fog.
I'm placing my order right now.
Dude, it's sold out.
I'm doing it.
It's sold out. And apparently what is their marketing bullshit? I'm going to bring it up right here. I got it right here.
Yeah.
We use proprietary holographic nano layer catalyst technology.
Which is translated as fucking it's bum words.
It's like, dude,
it means nothing. It's a bunch of scientifically sounding nonsense.
Yep. It's basically we put a sticker on a USB key, and now the nano layer operating in a diameter of either 8 or 40 meters will create a dome around you or your home and protect you from electronic radiation and EMF emitting devices.
You know what? Kudos for them. They use the word diameter right.
Yeah, but like, come on, what the fuck?
I mean, you gotta give it to props
buys
for
this
that.
Shit? Dude, it got so bad that the UK have now come out and said, like the actual government, that this is a scam, and they are like cracking down on the sale of this because it's like illegitimate and fraudulent. Like, did you have to be told that?
Yeah.
And do people even have a brain?
Look. Yeah. But here's the thing. This is like a flat earth thing. We said it before. If you're a flat earther, just fuck off. This is not your podcast. Yeah. But, by the way, congratulations, Elon Musk.
What, for getting the space shuttle to fly off?
With people in them.
Yeah, true. And they didn't die.
Yeah, and they fucking returned safe. Fucking good on him.
That's true.
All right, but this is the exact same as what happened with the entire what was it again? Fuck it, I can't think of it. These are the same people that are buying crystals to make themselves feel better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of. I think it was last episode or the episode before that that we said if something's being made, it's the folding at home episode.
Yep.
Where we talk about if somebody's making something fantastic, then somebody else is gonna find a way to pervert that and
to leech off of it. Yeah, with some bullshit.
That's basically what happened with the COVID and toilet paper shit, is people were buying toilet paper in bulk and selling them at way higher prices to wipe your... There was never any fucking toilet paper, like...
Nope.
Shortage or anything. It was just stores were selling out faster than they were used to. But so that's the thing, though. Like, people get freaked out about shit and then they buy shit from scammers that, you know... I mean... Fuck it, man. It's fucking incredible.
I have to read this. Right. They have a thing on their website that says the most ridiculous thing, or the two things that I've ever read, right? So, under the title Restoring Coherence of Atoms, so apparently this thing's like some fucking nuclear fission thing or something, and like fixes atoms. It says, the 5G BioShield USB key restores the coherence of the geometry of the atoms, which allows a perfect induction for life forces by recreating a cardiac coherence via plasmic support and interactivity. It doesn't mean anything.
No.
It doesn't mean if you... What the fuck? It's like every buzz... They just went in the dictionary or whatever and like they Googled buzzwords.
Please tell me there's customers sending their...
reviews?
What's it called? Yeah, their reviews.
There's pictures of the people who created it and like it looks like they were taken on a camera phone from like 2004.
Wait, what's the website?
Oh no, they do have testimonials. Wait, yeah, they got testimonials.
What's the website?
I'll send it through in the chat.
In the chat.
But like, so basically, if you haven't listened that much, something more effective than this would be to like basically put a blanket on top of you. Would do better at protecting you from 5G than this. Oh, Susan said, everyone at 5G BioShield have been absolutely wonderful to work with. They've been responsive to my inquiries and went out of their way to ensure I received my BioShield after a house fire caused me to change addresses multiple times. What? As for the shield itself, amazing. I feel better and sleep better with one plugged in at the house and one kept on my person at all times. Thank you for all your services to humanity.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Here we go. Edward says, thank you so much. After just 3 days of the BioShield in my house, my brain fog and fatigue are gone, and I feel like I have 100% more energy. So Edward was actually at 0%, meaning he was dead. Yep. These 5G BioShields
brought back his life forces.
Are resurrecting people from the dead. Dude, this is incredible.
They brought back his life force. This is force healing.
Yeah,
these guys are Jedi. But I just don't understand. I have not seen where are you finding... I received
the 5G BioShield USB key, and it is beautiful. I'm so grateful for this technology. Thank you. Now I finally have a place to store my fucking photos. You fucking dumbass.
But where are you finding 128 megabyte USB drives in 2020? I haven't seen them since 2005. Like, where are they finding these to even make them? Who makes this? It's literally just a sticker on a thumb drive and painted gold with like cheap paint.
Hold on. There's just something about a divinity here.
Wait, dude, you can get a 3-piece kit for £800. That is a bargain and a half.
That is a bargain and a half.
Sold.
Yeah, just buy that one immediately.
Oh, dude, no, this emits life force frequencies.
Jim?
Holy shit.
It does?
It says it does on their advertising. It emits life force frequencies. That's how the guy got back to 100%.
Jim says, thanks so much. I don't know if it's a placebo effect or not, but I have a growing feeling of well-being that comes directly from my instinctual survival drive deep in my belly center. So if you don't know what that is, it's your stomach.
Yes.
God, it's surreal because I have suffered so much over the last 10 months. My wife Nancy left me. No, that's not what it said. What if it was just on many levels? So I am centering myself, breathing deeply and practicing presence. Basically calming the fuck down is what he's doing. But most of all, allowing the goodness of the beloved. And then in fucking, what is it? Brackets? As I call the absolute and others call God. To unfold my faith.
Oh my God.
This is sold out. How many did they make? Like fucking 3?
I don't know. But what's even more ridiculous, they have a thing called science and research on their page, and all the articles that they like point to are just about concepts of like the human anatomy. They don't actually have anything to do with that this thing in particular stops 5G. They're just like mentioning buzzwords, like proof that their buzzwords are like real things. Well, except for life energy, because obviously that's like, you know, we don't live in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to say, these guys are geniuses, man. If they manage to sell out a USB key they bought 1,000 for $1 for, and they're selling them at £283 each, just using some buzzwords like proprietary holographic nano-layer technology. It means nothing.
They keep being adamant, all these people on it working
How is it
directly.
holographic? Does it have like, you remember those holographic like Pokemon cards?
Isn't holographic something, projecting something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
don't
something
know
visible, something tangible?
Yeah, I don't see how this... Yeah, this is holographic.
Yeah, it's holographic.
Batman just chimed in for people listening.
Yeah, Batman just chimed in saying, that's holographical!
Oh, wait,
That's
dude, this
basically
thing
what-
does quantum oscillation. So, like, they've worked out quantum computing or something to, like, fight these frequencies. I'm at a loss, to be honest, to understand why anyone would buy this. And look at the faces of the two guys that are on the team. Like, they don't look like men I would trust.
I'm still in the testimonials, buddy. Like, I can't pull myself away from these. I must say that my dreams have becoming very harmonic since I started to use the 5G BioShields. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. So if you're not sure about having good dreams, 3 exclamation points will fucking do it. Now, this has been sent in by Tom. These are they are smart because they give you the most generic names, and then once in a while they throw in a fucking weird name. So you have Kim, Tom, Barbara, Scott, Barbara again because she probably bought twice.
Oh, obviously.
That's what Barbara's do's. You got Linda, and then of course you got Zarko. Who
Zarko.
Thank you so much for your delivery.
And we have a guy here who must
at
be
least they deliver.
Nordic, because it's called Thor, like Thor, basically.
Yeah.
We have someone called Octavia.
I feel very excited about rebuilding my health after many years of suffering from toxic EMF pollution from smart meters, cell phones, and computers. I am very grateful for your product, 5G BioShields. Zarko.
I think it's time to buy like a truckload of Clorox and say it's like anti-5G potion and just sell it.
Let's do it.
I mean, why not?
Let's make the first fucking...
Anti-5G potion.
Yeah, let's make the first fucking at random podcast potion.
Yep.
Let's do it.
Made by the shamans of
at
random podcast who are going to set your life energy.
2 guys stirring this shit with their dicks and then selling it to you so you can fucking drink our dick cheese.
Literally, when I saw that today, I was like, I have to do this now. I can't believe anyone is that dumb.
That's the best thing, dude.
That you would buy this. Like, it's a genius scam, I gotta say.
It is.
Like, dude, like they basically flipped this shit and they made money for nothing. It cost them nothing.
But have you seen what it looks like?
Yeah, it's a fucking USB stick.
Yeah, but it's a cool looking USB stick.
Oh yeah, they put a sticker on it
and
they spray painted it gold.
Yeah.
And then they charge you £300.
But the gold helps for the holographic manipulation quantum.
Yeah, I think that's for the coherence of the geometry of the atoms. I think you'll find.
Yeah,
so.
Within a diameter of 3 to 4 meters. Did I use it right? Fucking Linda says.
Jesus Christ. Oh my god.
All right, we're an hour and 24 minutes in, buddy.
That's all I had. That was the last. That was just the inspiration for this episode. Go check it out. 5G BioShield.com.
No, don't fucking check it out. Don't give him the clicks. Fuck off. Just don't fucking do it. Jesus Christ, nah. All right.
Just read the testimonials.
If you want to find us on Instagram, you can get your own dick cheese potion there. if you send us a DM, I'll make a potion for you and send it, and you'll be protected from the 5G microbes in the air.
Absolutely.
And I'll do it for free just because you're a listener of this show.
Yep.
So if you want to find us on Instagram, it's @random.podcast. That is at.random.podcast. Also, the link to the Discord channel, which you are able to watch our show live every Sunday, hearing us say all the things that got bleeped out, like that happened 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Hopefully. If you want to know what that is all about, I got a couple of things that, look, if we got 50 people in the recording session, I got big plans.
He does. That's just pretty good plan.
Yeah, I told you about that.
That's a good plan.
Yeah, I got plans. You're going to get a fucking show. So get 50 people in our Discord chat, and you can find the link to the Discord in the description box below. And if you want to hit us up on Twitter, Alex, go on ahead.
You will find us. If you want to boost the emitting life force frequencies in your body, you have to follow us on Twitter @AT_randompod. That's where you will find us. And also, we are now publishing all our episodes to YouTube as well, if for some reason that's how you prefer to consume our show.
Who knows?
And you will find us at Random Podcast on YouTube. We'll put a link as well in the description in the show notes. So go and subscribe. Even just giving us a subscribe, it helps us obviously reach more people. So if you like the show, just do that. And so there's another way for you to listen to us for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Maybe one day we'll actually start recording these shows, but with how much shit gets cut out of them, it'll be a tough watch, I gotta say.
I'd have to watch what I'm saying like 24/7.
It'll be a very jarring thing. You'll see us moving the frame.
There's no potion. There's no USB stick for all the shit I say on the show.
There is not, unfortunately. Maybe we can make one. We'll find a lot of research it will take there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. And on that lovely note, I guess this is the end of the show. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.